Good evening. Good evening. Oh, voice protagonist? Oh dear. Oh my goodness. Hang on. All right. Welcome, voice protagonist.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. Yeah, you too. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. How long have you been a fan of Lord of the Rings?
Oh, I started reading it in high school back in the 70s. Like
Cool.
it was, yeah, back when that was, when the whole Dungeons and Dragons and a lot of the fantasy novels and a lot of the things got started, got real
Mhm.
popular back then. And
Yep.
so yeah, since the 70s.
That's very good. And welcome aboard again, and welcome back, Lord Shadow.
Hey, Sarge, how you doing?
Good. Now we can.
Is my audio okay?
Yeah, just gotta adjust it. Now, let me just. Now we shall get started with Lord of the. Now we can get started. Just in a moment. Yeah, I know.
So, who else is in here? I don't see names displayed. So,
Oh, I'm expecting another guest on soon. For now,
yeah, who's the gentleman in here right now?
oh, this is voice protagonist. He hangs out with me in the DA and all my DualShocks live streams.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic.
Nice. So I heard you say you've been into Lord of the Rings and such since the 70s, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what all D&D was really based on. Because you remember when first edition D&D got sued
Because they
by
used
the
because they used
they,
orcs in there. Yeah, I think.
no, because they had hobbits in there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Hobbits.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, they got
Yeah.
sued, so they pulled them, and then they named them halflings and
Oh my goodness.
other
Yeah.
names.
That's crazy. But J.R. Tolkien designed designed books as he did, and here it is, guys. Tonight's topic and our first for the open panel Wednesday. Lord of the Rings. Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, these things are, yeah, they are a classic, just like the animated movies, even more so. And,
well, the animated movies were fantastic in their own right, but they were honestly more a musical um, than a full retelling of the story, whereas the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings were, they had some changes in there, but they were absolutely amazing retellings.
yeah,
They're
real, yeah,
they're going to be around forever.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Oh,
very true.
the musical one? Are you talking about the Hanna-Barbera Return of the King or
Yeah,
animated one? Oh my goodness!
Hanna-Barbera. Hi.
yeah. Do you remember those?
Yes, I do, and I remember
Yeah,
the was it Ralph Bakshi that did
yeah,
like one, and he never came out with the second half of his movie set. Yeah, I remember those.
yeah, yeah. I actually still have them on DVD.
Um,
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah,
Literally just to complete the collection. Not because I go back and watch them once a year or anything. Really.
Yeah, and right here we have the ring of Sauron. You know, the ring that is known to corrupt the person that puts it on. You know, that same.
The One Ring.
The One Ring.
Oh yeah, the One Ring. Yeah, we know what it. We know the side effects of the ring when it's worn for so long. The person who carries it on his finger, it can drive them mad, big time.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you think about how initially when Isildur took the ring, how it immediately betrayed him, but yet it just bided its time and waited once Frodo got it and Bilbo.
Uh huh. First it was Bilbo back, and then it was Frodo. That
Yep.
that yeah. This ring was also found was also discovered by a by a former by a developed hobbit called Gallum, played by Andy Serkis in the movies,
Oh yeah. Yeah, Andy Serkis did a fantastic job in those. The voice acting was absolutely fantastic.
including the motion capture he did for
Oh
Gallum.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
have I have no idea how much they spent on that, but it was perfectly executed.
Yeah, yeah, it was really well done.
Yeah, did you guys see the behind the scenes stuff with Andy Serkis actually filming the motion capture stuff?
Oh yeah, Andy Serkis.
Was that on was that on the DVD set, or was that something that was just
It was on the DVD set in the special features section.
yeah. I've seen a little bit of that, but that's a yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, that picture right there, that's exactly it. And man, it's insane how when you're actually watching it and they have the side by side like this, his facial expressions and how his face animates is captured like almost perfectly onto the uh, Golem character on screen. It's just phenomenal.
Oh yeah, yeah. The trilogy had a lot of amazing VFX in it, including with the acting and the yeah, the setups and stuff. Really incredible too. So
Oh
incredible,
yeah,
I can't even. Yep. And it, and over here you could see Circus as Gallon before, and then him after. Wow, how he devolved from this
yeah.
to
It's
this.
kind of crazy how it did that to him, but it didn't have that same effect on the hobbits. And they did specify that he wasn't actually a hobbit. He was something similar to a hobbit.
Yeah, couldn't tell what
Like,
couldn't tell what that was.
yeah, they never specified.
Did they ever say how long he had that ring after he found it?
No, it just kind of left us to guess. It
Yeah,
was a long time though, because it specified that he had his life extended. Uh, when Gandalf was talking about it, said that it gave him an unnatural long life
Mm-hmm.
in order to carry it to its next, you know, bearer to bring it to its master. And we actually see the results of that with Bilbo because Bilbo was 111 before he took the ring off,
uh-huh.
and then he aged very quickly.
Yeah, he sure did when he took it off.
Yeah, it all caught up to him like almost at once.
Sure has. Yeah, and taking that ring off did help Bilbo come to his senses. Yep, and here we go to the Master of the Ring, Sauron. The he's the titular character and the main antagonist of J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, where he rules the land of Mordor. He has the ambition of ruling the whole of Middle Earth using the power of the One Ring, which he has lost and seeks to recapture. In the same work, he is identified as the necromancer of Tolkien's earlier novel, The Hobbit, the the Silmar, the Silmarillion describes him as the chief lieutenant of the Dark Lord Morgoth. Tolkien noted that the the Ajnar, the angelic powers of his constructed myth, were capable of many degrees of error and failing, but by far the worst was the absolute satanic rebellion and evil of Morgoth and his satellite Sauron. Sauron appears most often as the Eye, as as if disembodied. Tolkien, while denying that absolute evil could exist, stated that Sauron came as near to a holy evil will as was possible. Commentators have compared Sauron to the titular character of Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula, and to Balor of the Evil Eye in Irish mythology. Sauron is briefly seen in a humanoid form in Peter Jackson's film trilogy, which otherwise shows him as a disembodied flaming eye.
So, just to touch on that real quick, if I could,
Sure.
the the Peter Jackson films are the only depiction of Sauron that I consider to be canon. The new television show is
Oh,
is a horrible blight and should never have been done the way it was done.
oh yeah, it was a complete disrespect to Sauron and everything that J.R.R. has worked on.
Well, that, and I mean, they're trying to make Sauron, have like kind of a love triangle thing with, what's her face,
Oh,
uh,
Gadriel, he said.
Galadriel, yeah, and it's like none of that ever happened, and they just are really going out of their way to destroy something that is honestly kind of just perfect the way it was.
Oh yeah.
And it's just very frustrating to see.
Tell me about it.
Absolutely. The funny part is that they talk about the Eye of Sauron and how it's depicted. It's something when I at work I always use that term because it's like when somebody from the boss's office or something like that says, "I don't want the Eye of Sauron turning on me," and you've got that visual from in the movie where the eye is in the tower. And it's shifting its gaze, and so you can tell when you're under its gaze or not, and it's pretty ominous. So.
Yeah, you don't want it to fall on you.
Oh heck no!
Well, and I think it wasn't that kind of like the biggest issue with using the Palantir stones. When he touched it, the Eye of Sauron could immediately pinpoint where you were and work to take over your mind, and that was what happened with
Saruman.
No, not Saruman, because he was already corrupted. But that was how they were communicating.
Yeah, they were.
It was through the Palantir stones. Yeah.
Yep. Palantir stones. Yeah. And Sauron is quite. Yeah, this portrayal of Sauron as the supreme Dark Lord of all evil does look fitting too, especially when he's the leader of the orcs. Well, the master controls. Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, we should all get together and do a watch party one of these nights for the extended versions, which are the only correct version to watch, mind you, because they're amazing.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Yeah, you got to spare 12 hours.
I mean, we could do one at a time.
I agree. I'm just playing.
I did do that once, though. I had a full marathon day of nothing but Lord of the Rings, and it was awesome.
I've got to do that.
Had the boys over, ordered some pizza, had some beer, and just watched the journey.
Yeah, yeah, and we know that orcs are creatures created by dark magic and take orders from their masters without question. And clearly, Amazon definitely dropped the ball. Oh, gonna need some intermissions. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
definitely.
Amazon ruined orcs trying to make them you know, misunderstood
Yeah, I
villains,
know.
but they're yeah, they're straight up evil creatures. Like
Yeah, they
that's their
are.
sole purpose is to run around and destroy and follow the orders of their master. That's their purpose.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. And yet Amazon literally dropped the ball when they made them humans, and I feel like they've just completely destroyed the purpose of their existence just from giving them human personalities. It's insane.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, now let's move on to the next character who we know is one of the good wizards of the Middle Earth and the main wizard, if I'm not mistaken, Gandalf.
Gandalf Stormcrow.
Yep, Ian McKellen did a fabulous job as Gandalf in this movie. Yeah, yeah. He you originally Gandalf was dressed like this when before he became the new Gandalf. Before he became the new White Wizard, he was called Gandalf the Grey.
Yep.
Let's read. Let's read what it says. Gandalf is a protagonist in J.R.R. Tolkien's novels, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. He is a wizard, one of the Istari Order, and the leader of the Company of the Ring. Tolkien took the name Gandalf from the Old Norse catalog of dwarves. Oh, the Veralgate in the wow, can't tell what that word is. Voluspa as a wizard and the bearer of one of the three rings. Gandalf has three has great power, but works mostly by encouraging and persuading. He sets out as Gandalf the Grey, possessing great knowledge and traveling continually. Gandalf is focused on the mission to counter the Dark Lord Sauron by destroying the One Ring. He is associated with fire. His ring of power is Narya. The Ring of Fire, such, he delights in fireworks to entertain the hobbits in of the shrine of the Shire. While in great need, he uses fire as a weapon. As one of the Majar or the Maiar, he is an immortal spirit from Valinor, but his physical body can be killed. In The Hobbit, Gandalf assists the 13 dwarves and the Hobbit Bilbo Baggins with their quest to retake the Lonely Mountain from Smaug the Dragon, but leaves them to urge the White Council to expel Sauron from his fortress of Dol Guldur. In the course of the quest, Bilbo finds a magical ring. The expulsion succeeds, but in Lord of the Rings, Gandalf reveals that Sauron's retreat was only a feint, as he soon reappeared in Mordor. Gandalf further explains that, after years of investigation, he is sure that Bilbo's ring is the one ring that Sauron needs to dominate the world. Oh, Frostfang. Okay. Hey. Oh, sure thing. We got another guest who wants to join in. Hang on.
Excellent.
All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just gotta wait for a friend to come and join us. Yep. We just gotta give him time. Meantime, let's get back. Let's see. The Council of Elrond creates the Fellowship of the Ring with Gandalf as its leader to defeat Sauron by destroying the ring. He takes them south through the Misty Mountains, but is killed by fighting a Balrog. We know what that is. Balrog. You know that.
Big, nasty fire demon.
Yep. Ah. Yeah. Hi, Frostfang.
Hi, sorry about that. I think I tried to bypass my browser tried to bypass some stuff and then it messed things up. So I got a Brave app, so or sorry, the Brave browser, so that's probably what caused the issue.
Oh. Okay.
Are you guys talking about the Balrog right now?
Yeah, we were, and we were talking about Gandalf.
So, can we talk about the fact that the Balrog was used ineffectively in a very terrible way in Rings of Power, the Amazon TV show?
That entire TV show is a blight.
They try to make an allegory for climate change, even though
yeah.
that's what they said, and they woken it, but then there is a giant time span of the time when it was awakened in the show and when it took over actually in the books. And they said, "Oh, it's because it's like climate change. Like it just creeps up on you." I'm like, that's not how a creature or entity works. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, they messed it. Yeah, Amazon really messed it up. Big time. Okay.
like
Now,
that's not how Balrogs work. They don't wait around because quote unquote, oh, I gotta come in at the right time to make a message, even though J.R.R. Tolkien was very much against allegories.
yeah. You mean giving them personalities?
No, he was very much against the idea of allegorical tales.
Yeah, his writings were purposely very straightforward.
Definitely.
He liked the idea of probably similes, like the idea of industry versus environment, but that is not how he rolled.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
I mean, everyone likes to say, "Well, look at the Ents versus Isengard." I'm like, well, that's not an allegory. That is a theme of industrial versus the environment. That's not an allegory.
Right. That's true. Very true. Yeah. Take a look. The Balrogs are a species of powerful demonic monsters in J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. One first appeared in print of his high fantasy novel Lord of the Rings, where the Company of the Ring encounter a Balrog known as Durin's Bane in the mines of Moria. Balrogs appear also in Tolkien's The Silmarillion and his Legendarium. Balrogs are tall and menacing beings who can shroud themselves in fire, darkness, and shadow. They are armed with fiery whips of many thongs and occasionally use long swords. In Tolkien's later conception, Barlogs could not be readily vanquished. A certain stature was required by the would-be hero. Only dragons rivaled their capacity for ferocity and destruction. During the first stage of Middle-earth, they were among the most feared of Morgoth's forces. Their power came from their nature as Maiar, angelic beings like the Valar, through, though of lesser power. Tolkien invented the name Balrog, providing an in-universe etymology for it as a word in his invented Sindarian language. He may have gained the idea of a fire demon from his physiological study of the Old English word Sigilwera, which he studied in detail in the 1930s. Hang on. Balrogs appear in the film adaptations of The Lord of the Rings by Ralph Bakshi and Peter Jackson, in the streaming series Rings of Power, which we know is garbage, and in computer and video games based on Middle-earth.
Yeah, that's pretty garbage. Them having to bring in Rings of Power.
Totally
Power.
garbage.
Rings of Power is not canon to the entire thing.
Nope.
I mean, so throngs mean, or thongs, I guess, mean a form of a strip of something. I had to look it up.
Are you familiar with the Cat of Nine Tails?
Yeah, exactly. Like I was thinking, like a cat of nine tails, except
Basically, yeah.
cat of however.
Except longer. Yeah.
But it's just they always gotta desecrate this stuff. It's just like, what's popular? Oh, why don't we do this? And it's just like, well, we got nothing better to do, so let's just.
Yeah.
Well, they injected all this stuff from elderberries. It's because what they have wasn't enough to stand on its own, and the writers just aren't good enough to make something that can be its own thing. That's why, they even put in Gandalf, who is hundreds of years before he's even supposed to show up on Middle Earth. But they brought him in. They turned Galadriel into some girl boss character running around fighting everything when that was never her thing.
Well, did you hear what they said, that they're more interested in the idea of her having this fanfic relationship with Sauron, about the fact she already has a husband in lore?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Degenerate.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. After he dies, he's... Oh, sure.
Wasn't there a Balrog in Shadow of War, I think? It's been a while since...
The game?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
There was a ent wife or something entity in that game, but I think there was a Balrog. I don't know. It's been a super long time since I played it. But at the same time, that game at least acknowledged that it was sort of bending the rules of everything, but, it wasn't trying to desecrate everything.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'll be right back. I'll still be listening. Hold on.
All right. Let's continue. After he dies, he is sent back to Middle-earth to complete his mission as Gandalf the White. He reappears to 3 of the Fellowship and helps to counter the enemy in Rohan, then in Gondor, and finally at the Black Gate of Mordor. In each case, largely by offering guidance. When victory is complete, he crowns Aragorn as king before leaving Middle-earth forever to return to Valinor. Tolkien once described Gandalf as an angel incarnate. Later, both he and other scholars have likened Gandalf to the Norse god Odin in his wanderer guise. Others have described Gandalf as a guide figure who assists the protagonist, comparable to the Kamayan Sibyl, who assisted Aeneas in Virgil's The Aeneid, or to the figure of Virgil in Dante's Inferno. Scholars have likened his return in white to the transfiguration of Christ. He is further described as a prophet, representing one element of Christ's threefold office of prophet, priest, and king, where the other two roles are taken by Frodo and Aragorn. The Gandalf character has been featured in radio, television, stage, video game, music, and film adaptations, including Ralph Bakshi's 1978 animated film. His best known portrayal is by Ian McKellen in Peter Jackson's 2001 through 2003 Lord of the Rings film series, where the actor based his acclaimed performance on Tolkien himself. McKellen reprised his role in Jackson's 2012 and 2014 film series The Hobbit.
I'll tell you
How
what.
did you guys feel about the Hobbit series?
It was okay.
I liked pretty much everything except for the love story with the elf chick
Oh
and the
yeah.
dwarf. I just felt
Oh
that
yeah.
was forced.
Yeah.
I thought it was like one too many movies. I mean, if we got like a two-part movie of The Hobbit, I think it would have worked. But unfortunately, there was a number of issues with the whole Hobbit trilogy, quote unquote. The first thing was that Guillermo del Toro was supposed to direct a dual movie. He described the first one as more as a childhood, a children's tale type movie, and then he said that the second one was going to be more leading into what we know about Lord of the Rings from the movies. But unfortunately, due to a lot of issues and between the studio and whatever, and I guess I don't know what the like. We got Peter Jackson version, and then he made it more into an epic or he kind of played it more safe and tried to make it more of an epic like what he did prior. Um, Parts of it were still, there from what Guillermo del Toro did, but he had to stretch it into three movies. I mean, when he came on originally after Guillermo del Toro left and did Pacific Rim, which is still a pretty good movie, he he basically went from two movies to three, and that's why we got kind of a over bloated type of series. Now, does that make it bad? There's still a lot of good elements in it, but it definitely was. I would like to call the Hobbit movies kind of a Frankenstein like monster, basically.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Now we can go on to our next character to discuss in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is Christopher Lee, aka Saruman, the wizard who betrayed the good wizards. Saruman, also called Saruman the White, later Saruman of Many Colors, is a fictional character in J.R.R. Tolkien's fantasy novel, Lord of the Rings. He is the leader of the Istari wizards sent to Middle-earth in human form by the godlike Valar to challenge Sauron, the main antagonist of the novel. He comes to desire Sauron's power for himself, so he betrays the Istari and tries to take over Middle-earth by force from his base at Isengard. His schemes feature prominently in the second volume, The Two Towers. He appears briefly at the end of the third volume, Return of the King. His earlier history is summarized and posthumously published the Silmar- Silmarillion and Unfinished Tales. Saruman is one of several characters in the book who illustrate the corruption of power. His desire for knowledge and order leads to his fall, and he rejects the chance of redemption when it is offered. The name Saruman, pronounced Saruman, means man of ski and cunning, or cunning, of skill or cunning, in the Mercian dialect of Anglo-Saxon. He serves as an example of technology and modernity being overthrown by forces more in tune with nature. Saruman was portrayed by Christopher Lee in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and Hobbit film trilogies. Yep. And we
Now, did you hear that they used archival footage apparently for what should I what I'll let yeah. Did you hear that they used archival footage of Christopher Lee for that War of Rohirrim movie?
Oh yes, I did a live stream covering that back last month of last year.
Yeah, that's very odd that they did that. I mean that story could have worked, but the problem is, I think, is that the animation that they chose and the fact that, like, there was a lot of female empowerment movement behind that entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, I think.
Yeah, it rubbed the wrong way indeed.
I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's any good. I doubt it's good, but that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, yeah, it's such a shame too.
It's potentially a pretty good story, but apparently they did not follow what was written.
Certainly not.
Anyone else have anything to say?
Well, I was always when I saw these stories that happened before, that they try to tell that happened before Lord of the Rings, where everybody knows what has happened and the way things are in the Lord of the Rings. It's like, so what happened to these powerful women that were supposedly, earlier? Did they just go away? What happened to them, because they don't exist in the future? You know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
it tried to insert a lot of things that aren't in the novels or in the movies to try to rewrite things. And it makes me wonder, like, if somebody tried to redo the Lord of the Rings again, what
Uh-huh.
what would it look like? It would just be, to me, awful. Most likely.
Unless I wasn't muting, no one was muting me. It was just the fact that right now I just don't want echoey from my because I'm not wearing headphones or anything, so that's why.
Oh, I see. Hang on. Let me.
That's why. It's not because anyone is censoring me or anything like that. It's just I don't want people. I just don't want background noise or anything like that because I'm not on a top PC type of computer with all the latest gadgets or whatever. So
Yeah. All right. Let's get on to the next character. Frodo.
I also do want to mention just very briefly. Did anyone find it weird how in Rings of Power they made the orcs have children and such?
Oh yeah, that was embarrassing.
I mean, it's just like that's. I mean, okay. I mean, like as Gary from the Erotic put it, yeah, it's obvious that these people put things in other places, but it's very weird seeing that the worst aspects of a elf race becoming this way. Like, it's very weird. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking on my ass that way, but
Yeah.
anyone else have any thoughts on that?
I only saw Rings of Power through other people's eyes, and when I saw these, like you said, these humanized orcs, it was just more fuel on the I'm never watching this show fire.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start. Frodo Baggins, fictional character.
Frodo Baggins! He's my second cousin. Twice removed on my mother's side.
Yeah. Okay. Writings and one of the protagonists of The Lord of the Rings. Frodo is a hobbit of the Shire who inherits the One Ring from his cousin Bilbo Baggins, who I thought was his uncle, described familiarly as uncle, and undertakes the quest to destroy it in the fires of Mount Doom in Mordor. He is mentioned in Tolkien's posthumously published books, The Silmarillion and Unfinished Tales. Frodo is repeatedly wounded during the quest and becomes increasingly burdened by the ring as it nears Mordor. He changes to growing in understanding and comparison and avoiding violence. On his return to the Shire, he is unable to settle back into ordinary life. 2 years after the ring's destruction, he is allowed to take ship to the earthly paradise of Valinor. Frodo's name comes from Old English name Froda, meaning wise by experience. Commentators have written that he combines courage, selflessness, and fidelity, and that as a good character, he seems unexciting, but grows through his quest, an unheroic person who reaches heroic stature.
Yeah, that's kind of an important thing to pick up on there, to focus on, where they say he's unheroic but reaches heroic stature, because that is the classical hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
Like the same exact thing was with Luke Skywalker, right? He was just some little nobody from a podunk corner of the galaxy that, through his journey ends up making friends and being thrown into wild situations and coming out the victor. Um,
Well, I mean, Frodo never rises to the level of Luke Skywalker, but the whole thing
he
is,
absolutely was.
yeah, well, facing the ultimate enemy by, dueling him, it's a different type of hero's journey in that terms of sense. It's more temptation of evil. Would you
Yeah.
say?
Which
I mean,
was the same thing that Luke Skywalker dealt with as well. I mean, the end fight is different, but the hero's journey is still there, and he has to go and fight through.
You're correct. You're correct. I'm misspoken.
Okay. All right.
That's okay.
No. It's just the fact is that I noticed that there's echoey on my part. I probably should put on my headphones again, but it's just uncomfortable a little bit.
All right. Now, here we are. Legolas. Here we go. An an elf that was portrayed by Orlando Bloom in Peter Jackson's films. Legolas, a fictional character in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. He is a Sindar elf of the woodland realm and son of its king, Thranduil, becoming one of the 9 members of the
Thranduil.
Thranduil. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a harp on that.
don't worry.
By the Lord.
Yeah, I'm one of the 9 members of the Fellowship who set out to destroy the One Ring. Though dwarves and elves are traditionally rivals, he and the dwarf Gimli form a close friendship during their travels together. Commentators have noted that Legolas serves as a typical elf in the story, demonstrating more than human abilities such as seeing further than anyone else in Rohan and sensing the memory of a long-lost elvish civilization in the Stones of Holland. Yeah, yeah, and there he is in the 1978 animated movie Lord of the Rings.
Um, Garatina, have you seen the animation movie the Orcs March? Look up the Orcs March whip thing. I
Okay,
dare you not to laugh
right.
pretty hard.
Oh, that is the fun. You're talking about that song they sang?
Yes, I'm
Oh, that is
talking about that
hilarious.
song.
That is
It is
hilarious.
so hilarious.
Coco, my lad.
Dude, we used to
Coco,
sing
my
that song.
lad.
We used to sing that song
No,
back
it's
in.
really
It
funny.
is so damn funny.
It is very funny. You gotta play it, guaranteed. Please.
Well, I gotta be careful of what I. Well, I'll look at it, but I can't
No,
exactly.
it's too old and too obscure to really anybody to notice. So just play it. Like nobody's gonna know us. It's very.
Okay, I'll see, but
In the Peter Jackson films, the friendship between Legolas and Gimli was actually one of my favorite things. It was just great to see them grow into becoming actual real friends and helping each other and fighting side by side as opposed to their antagonism towards each other when they first meet there at the Council of the Ring.
No, I, I think I remember. Where there's a whip, there's a way.
Yep, that's it. That's
That
it.
was it.
That's it.
I remembered it.
It's yeah. It's he says.
you
He
can
says,
hear it.
well, I'm not going to sing it
When
because I got
there's
a
a
terrible
whip,
singing voice, but it's like,
there's a
we don't
way.
want to go to war today. Where there's
No,
a
you
whip,
gotta play
there is
it,
a way.
guaranteed.
Yep.
Like it's so forgotten by this point, no one's gonna care.
Okay, well, it's gonna have to be a quick one.
It is very funny though, because I think nobody cares because it's still kind of dumb in a little way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way.
Well, I gotta make sure it doesn't actually trigger copyright because I'm
No,
very
they're not
skeptical
going to
about it.
copyright you. I trust you. They won't do it.
All right, but
It's like more than 40 years old. Like it's it's an animation that is not well looked upon.
you mean Warner Brothers?
No, they won't do anything. I swear to God. Like
I hope you're
seriously.
right, Frost Frank, because I gotta keep
No,
it.
no, it's. I swear to God, like it will not affect you. Seriously.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Like cross my heart, hope to die, because if it's not, they got no sense of humor.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't want to go to war today. I'm the Lord. The fight says we're gonna fight. We're gonna march all day and night and all. We are the slaves of the dark Lord's law. Left, right, There's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way.
That song is 4 minutes long.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the life says, nay, nay, nay.
Okay. Okay.
It's so funny though.
Yeah, it is funny.
And then like later, like they encounter the two hobbits, and it's just like, hey, yeah, orcs should go first. And it's just like, yeah, you know what, we're right.
Welcome aboard.
Oh
Thanks.
my! It was so funny. That's why nobody talks about this.
For today, by the law of the national remain. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. There's a way, there's a way, left, right, left.
Left, right, left, right, left, right. Get up! Like nobody talks about this. Like that's why it's like nobody is gonna get offended by this.
Yeah, I hope so too.
No, I guarantee no one's gonna like copyright this. It's just like even Warner Bros. Doesn't acknowledge this.
I just
Gotta
want
be
to say
sure.
real quick, if you're playing someone else's content, as long as you stop every 10 or 15 seconds and interject something, that you don't get copyright strike.
I mean, like this content right here, it's like if you're trying to like it's
Yeah.
not like Warner Brothers is not gonna say anything.
Yeah, I hope so.
I guarantee no one's gonna say anything.
I was just going to say, make sure you pause it every so often and say something in between.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's a good point.
if you want to be extra careful, but it's still funny, very funny. It's
Yeah,
very
it
funny
is.
way. It's like Sam Frower just saying that line. It's just like, you better get up, and it's just like, okay. And then they counter the humans that are part of Sauron's army, and they're just like, humans go first. And he's just like, whoa, you're not gonna talk shit back to them. Orcs go first. It's like, yeah, you know what? We're all right.
Yeah, that is true. Anyway, let's.
All right, be right back. I'm just gonna mute real quickly.
Okay. Now let's check out the next one. Let me just look for it. Eric. Ah, here we are. Let me bring him up. Aragorn. Yeah, Aragorn. Here we are. Yep. Aragorn, a fictional character and protagonist in Lord of the Rings. He is a ranger of the North, first introduced in the name Strider, later revealed to be the heir of Isildur, an ancient king of Arnor and Gondor. Aragorn is a confidant of the wizard Gandalf and plays a part in the quest to destroy the One Ring and defeat the Dark Lord Sauron. As a young man, Aragorn falls in love with the immortal elf Arwen, and as told in the tale of Aragorn and Arwen, Arwen's father, Elrond, half-elven, forbids them to marry unless Aragorn becomes king of both Arnor and Gondor. Aragorn leads the Company of the Ring following the loss of Gandalf in the mines of Moria. when the fellowship is broken, he tracks the hobbits Meriadoc Brandebuck and Peregrine Took, with the help of Legolas the elf and Gimli the dwarf, to Fangorn Forest. He fights in the battle at Helm Deep.
Peregrine Took. That's Peregrine Took.
Right.
It took me some time to get that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay. After defeat Helm's Deep and the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. After defeating Sauron's forces in Gondor, he leads the armies of Gondor and Rohan against the Black Gate of Mordor, distracting Sauron's attention and enabling Frodo Baggins and Samwise Gamgee to destroy the One Ring. Aragorn is proclaimed king by the people of Gondor and crowned king of both Gondor and Arnor. He marries Arwen and rules for 122 years. Tolkien developed the character of Aragorn over a long period, beginning with a hobbit nicknamed Trotter and trying to out many names before arriving at a man named Aragorn. Commentators have proposed historical figures such as King Oswald of Northumbria and King Alfred the Great as sources of inspiration for Aragorn, noting parallels such as spending time in exile and raising armies to retake their kingdoms. Aragorn has been compared to the figure of Christ as king, complete with the use of prophecy paralleling the Old Testament's foretelling of the Messiah. Others have evaluated his literacy status using Northtop's phrase, his classification, suggesting that while the hobbits are in low mimetic mode and the characters such as Eomer are in high mimetic mode, Aragorn reaches the level of romantic hero as he is superior in ability and lifespan to those around him. Aragorn has appeared in mainstream films by Ralph Bakshi, Rankin Bass, the film Trilogy by Peter Jackson, and the fan film The Hunt for Gollum. Fan film. He also appeared in the BBC radio drama station of The Lord of the Rings. Oh, you don't say. Yeah, interesting. Arwen. Yeah, Arwen Undamail is a fictional character who appears in the Lord of the Rings novels. She is one of half-elven who lived during the Third Age. Her father was Elrond, half-elven, lord of the elvish sanctuary of Rivendell, while her mother was the elf Celebrian, daughter of the elf queen Galadriel, ruler of Lothlorien. She marries the man Aragorn, who becomes king of Arnor and Gondor. In Peter Jackson's film adaptation, she was played by Liv Tyler. She plays a more attractive role in the film than in the book, personally rescuing the hobbit Frodo from the Black Riders at the Fords of Bruin, a role played by Glorfindel in the book. Black Riders. Before we read, you know who the Black Riders are, correct? Are you there, guys?
Yeah, it's the Nazgul before they got on their flying beast, right? They were.
No, they used to be kings of men.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, the Nazgul. Introduced as Black Riders, also called Ring Wraiths, Dark Riders, and the Nine Riders, were simply the Nine. They are 9 men who had succumbed to Sauron's power through wearing rings of power which gave them immortality but reduced them to invisible wraiths. Servants bound to the power of the One Ring and completely under Sauron's control. Lord of the Rings calls them Sauron's most terrible servants. Their leader, known as the Witch King of Angmar, Lord of the Nazgul, or the Black Captain, was Sauron's chief agent for most of the Third Age. At the end of the Third Age, their main stronghold was the city of Minas Morgul at the entrance to Sauron's realm, Mordor. They dressed entirely in black. In their early forays, they ride on black horses. Later, they ride flying monsters, which Tolkien described as pterodactyls. Their main weapon is terror. Through it, in their pursuit of the ring-bearer Frodo Baggins. Their leader uses a Morgul knife, which would reduce its victim to a wraith, and they would carry ordinary swords. In his final battle, the Lord of the Nazgul attacks Eowyn with a mace. The Hobbit Merry Brandybuck stabs him with an ancient enchanted blade, allowing Eowyn to kill him with her sword. Commentators have written that Nazgul served on the ordinary level of story as dangerous opponents of the Company of the Ring, at the romantic levels as their enemies of the heroic protagonists, and finally at the mythologic level. Tolkien knew the Lagnaga, the Old English book of spells. It may have suggested multiple features of the Nazgul, the Witch King, and the Morgul knife. The Nazgul appear in numerous adaptations of Tolkien's writings, including animated and live-action films and computer games. Wow.
So, in the Shadow of War game, they do take great liberties with who are some of the 9 ring wraiths. They made the guy who was the Hellhammer guy ring wraith kind of weirdly, and then I heard through DLCs. I didn't purchase the DLCs, but apparently there were these Costco Gulat, I don't know, like these samurai duo woman who became Nazgul, and just like, this makes little sense that these two would be that way, but okay. I don't want to be not politically correct.
Yeah, I hear you. But I found something. A comparison. 9 walkers versus 9 riders. Get a load of this, guys. I think you find this interesting before we move on.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Quite
Yeah, there's a direct correlation between the two. They're polar opposites.
I'd never seen it presented like that before.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah. We're going to try and keep this going because Cyphex I just got word from Cyphex that he'll be on his way to join us soon. For now, let's take a look at the left. The 9 walkers felt diverse, bound by friendship, relying on each other's strengths. At top, you got Gandalf the Wizard, 2 men, Aragorn and Boromir, the elf Lagos, the dwarf Gimli, and 4 hobbits, Frodo, Pippin, Sam, and Merry. And on the right, you've got the 9 riders, 9 men, homogeneous, Witch King of Angmar, Nazgul, Kamuel, Kamuel.
Yeah, he's the only other one that's actually named. The rest are just Nazgul.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
Don't get why they had to be unnamed. The rest had to be unnamed, but so far, Tolkien's only given us 2 members of the Nine Riders identified.
Well, I think that's because they were the 2 most powerful, and the rest of them just completely lost themselves to the power of the rings when they were turned.
Yeah, yeah. And we know what happened. I know what happened to the King of Angmar. That he was killed by a girl. In fact, we
Yeah.
should.
Well, funnily enough, talking about the Witch King of Angmar, in the Ralph Bakshi animated films, uh, they actually show when Sam goes to rescue Frodo from the Witch King's lair in honestly a bit more detail than what was shown in the films, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I bet it. Bet you it was. In fact, I think we might get a better look at the King of Angmar. Yeah, I'm gonna need to bring this up. Let me find the image, guys. Here we are. There he is, King of Angmar.
Yeah, he was Sauron's first lieutenant, right?
Yep. Yeah, Sauron. And speaking of which, you know where we got inspiration of the Mandarin's armor from Armored Adventures from, right, Frostfang, when we went back and did Iron Man back in September? You know, with the armor.
No man can kill me.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yep. Yeah. This. Yeah, the Witch King. And let's take a look at all 9 riders. Look. Yep. Was this what they looked like, guys, in the movies?
They looked amazing.
Yep.
They had such presence in the films, like when they started chasing Frodo and Merry and Pippin and Sam down the road, at night before they went to go hide under the roots of that tree on the side of the road. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, I also remember the part where one of them got stabbed in the face but came back alive.
Yeah. Yeah, they just the way that they portrayed them and the way that the lighting was and everything, the fact that their costumes were so detailed just really immersed you into the world of Lord of the Rings. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, to think they would take 9 kings and turn them into these evil-looking spirit-like wraiths.
Well,
wraiths.
I mean, it was because of their own greed for power.
Yep, and greed is real, and that
Yep.
definitely creates evil. We've seen it in our government, and we've seen it in every form. And here is what they used to look like right before they were turned into wraiths.
Yep.
All 9 kings that ended up under Sauron's influence.
And that's the only shot of them you ever see.
Uh-huh. It is the only shot. But you also got to wonder if some of the actors right here were actually that very age, while the rest were just putting on prosthetics and stuff for the costumes and the looks.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yep. Yeah, And for circus, he sure did a good job too, bringing this Witch King to life. And I never even heard of a Witch King before the movie Ring Race. Yeah, yeah. Riding these horses throughout the land and hunt for the person who carries the One Ring of Sauron. Man, they are kind of like scary mercenaries, folks, and almost like
Yeah, they're terrifying.
real terrifying indeed. Kind of like Gollum when he was attacking Frodo and bit his finger off just to get the ring. That was
Yeah,
quite nasty. Yeah, that was quite the nasty one, and it sure was very painful. Yet Frodo managed to push him into the lava, and by destroying the ring, he destroyed Sauron at the same time.
yep. Because that ring was basically a. You play D&D, right?
Me, I no, but I do play Magic the Gathering at
Oh,
times.
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to that.
I was
Now,
gonna say it's like a lich's phylactery, and when he destroyed it, he destroyed the lich.
oh yeah, you mean the Lich? Who is the Lich?
Sauron.
Oh yeah, Sauron. That's
Yeah,
right.
the ring was like Sauron's phylactery, and he just destroyed it.
Yeah, and Jim Stormcrow did tell me that Sauron has no has no original. Well, besides the
Body.
armor. Yeah, that he's kind of
Yeah,
like a
because it's just a shape he takes.
exactly. Yep, just the shape. And now let's take our time and look at Mary Brandebuck. Brandebuck, usually called Mary, is a hobbit in the Lord of the Rings verse, described as one of the closest friends of Frodo Baggins, main protagonist. Merry and his friends and cousin Pippin are members of the Company of the Ring. They become separated from the rest of the group and spent much of the 2 hours making their own decisions. By the time of Return of the King, Merry has enlisted in the army of Rohan as an esquire to King Theoden, in whose service he fights during the War of the Ring. After the war, he returns home where he and Pippin lead to the, scur- the scouring of the shrine, ridding it of Saruman's influence. Commentators have noted that his and Pippin's actions serve to throw light on the characters of a good and bad lords Theoden and Denethor, steward of Gondor. While their simple humor acts as a foil to the higher romance involving kings and the heroic Aragorn, Barry appeared in Ralph Bakshi's animated film Lord of the Rings. The animated version Return of the King by Rankin Bass and the live-action film series by Peter Jackson. Yep, hobbits will be hobbits, but let's keep looking at the hobbits, shall we?
Oh yeah,
Now let's go to Pippin. Pippin, Pip, Peregrine,
Peregrine Took.
yeah, commonly known as Pippin, is closely tied with his friend and cousin Merry, and the two are together during most of the story. Pippin and Merry are introduced as a pair of young hobbits of the Shire who become ensnared in their friend Bilbo Baggins' quest to destroy the One Ring. Pippin joins the Company of the Ring. He and Merry become separated from the rest of the group at the breaking of the Fellowship and spend much of the Two Towers with their own storyline. Impetuous and curious, Pippin enlists as a soldier in the army of Gondor and fights in the Battle of Morannon with the other hobbits. He returns home, helps to lead the scouring of the Shire, and becomes Tolkein, or hereditary leader of the land. Commentators have noted that the actions of Merry and Pippin serve to throw light on characters of the good and bad lords Theoden and Rohan and Denethor of Gondor, while their simple humor acts as a foil to the higher romance involving kings and the heroic Aragorn. Yeah, a foil, as in, you know what Gandalf said when he felt annoyed by the habit of the two?
Fool of a took.
Yeah, that and hobbits.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now,
Took
now
was the more annoying one. He was the one that was constantly getting into trouble. Mary was usually suckered into it, trying to get him out of it.
yeah, he was trying to get them out. Yeah, they are known for troublemakers. And before we go and look over other characters who they get involved with, we mustn't forget the other hobbit that I think say is most closest to Frodo. You know,
Oh yeah, Sam.
Samwise. Yep, Sam. A hobbit. Samwise is the chief supporting character of the franchise, serving as the loyal companion of the protagonist Frodo Baggins. Sam is a member of the Company of the Ring, the group of the Nine charged with destroying the One Ring to prevent the Dark Lord Sauron from taking over the world. Sam was Frodo's gardener and was drawn into Frodo's adventure while eavesdropping on a private conversation Frodo was having with the wizard Gandalf. Sam was Frodo's steadfast companion and servant, portrayed as both physically strong for his size and emotionally strong, often supporting Frodo through difficult parts of the journey and, at times, carrying Frodo when he was too weak to go on. Sam served as ring bearer for a short time when Frodo was captured by orcs. His emotional strength was again demonstrated go when he willingly gave the ring back to Frodo. Following the War of the Ring, Sam returned to the Shire and his role as a gardener, helping to replant trees which had been destroyed while he was away. He was elected mayor of the Shire for 7 consecutive terms. Wow. The
So
name,
he did a great job.
he sure did. The name Gamgee derives from a local name for cotton wool, from a surgical dressing invented by Samson Gamgee. Ah, what do you know? They took it from a guy's last name, ba- who is, whose last name came from that of a surgeon back in, yeah, yeah, in the late 1800s. Hence, Sam's girlfriend Rosie is from the Cotton family. Scholars have remarked on the symbolism in Sam's story, which carries echoes of Christianity. For instance, his carrying of Frodo is reminiscent of Simon the Siren's carrying of Christ's cross. Tolkien considered Sam a hero of the story. Psychologists have seen Sam's quest as a psychological journey of love. Tolkien's biographers have noted the resemblance of Sam's relationship with Frodo to that of military servants to British Army officers in the First World War. You don't say. Sean Austin. Who would have thought?
Yeah, he did such a great job.
I thought that was that relationship was one of the best parts of the movie. That, or all three movies, is their relationship as they progressed across this horrible, dumb trek they had to make. So
Yeah,
Yep.
I still remember the first time I saw Sean Astin as.
Guys,
I still remember the first.
you can't ignore the subtext. I can't carry it for you, but I will carry you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
No, it's just they always latch on to that subtext. Subtext. She's like, I can't carry it for you, but I can carry it for you. Oh my god, they are gay for each other. They want to bop heads. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's so funny and brave. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a good one, Frost Frank. Man, I guarantee you. But now we should head on over to the next character that the two hobbits joining Frodo and Sam came across on their journey, specifically in the second Lord of the Rings movie, The Two Towers. Treebeard, you know, the green tree leader of the tree people, was voiced by John Rhys Davies. You guys know about Treebeard?
Young master. It takes a lot to talking. Treebeard. It takes a lot to say anything. We decided that you aren't orcs. Nod, nod, nod.
Yeah, I first
I
remember
had to
seeing,
say it. I had to say it.
yeah, I first seen this character from the movie carrying Pippin and Merry on top of him while walking down the you know through the forest and stuff. Treeborn or Fangorn in Sindarin, he is an Ent and is said by Gandalf to be the oldest living thing that still walks beneath the sun upon the Middle Earth. He lives in the ancient forest of Fangorn, to which he has given his name. It lies at the southern end of the Misty Mountains. He is described as being about 14 feet tall, which is also in height also 4.5 meters, and in appearance similar to a beech or oak. An oak. In the Two Towers, Treebeard meets Merry and Pippin, two hobbits of the Shire. This meeting proves to have consequences that contribute significantly to the story and enables the events that occur in Return of the King. Yep. And here's a map of the Misty Mountains. Where would that be? Oh, right up there, and right at the top, as you can see here, Fangorn, top right. Well, close to the center, as you can see from this map that was laid out. Yeah, yeah, it's right up there, Fangorn. Yeah, you've seen what? If you guys have watched the movies, you know that he was also a tree that was shocked and hurt from many of his companions being chopped down by Saruman and his forces just to create an army of orcs to hunt down Frodo and his companion. And there is Isengard, located so far away from Mordor. Yeah, right there, in between the mist,
Well, that's why they called it the Two Towers in the second installment. It's just like the idea of one front versus another.
All right, let's continue. Apparently, Cybex must still be having problems, but for now, I'm sure he'll be fine. Let's continue now. Before we, yeah, I mean, look at this map. Now, where was it that the hobbits live again? Somewhere south of the.
They're up in the left side, left and up, if I remember it, because reading the books, it was always staring at the map, wondering where they were, and all these. So, you know, you're taking me back.
Frostfang, you know where the hobbits on this map live? Before we continue, you know where? Hey, well, I think we better just.
Sergeant,
Okay.
is that a full map of Middle Earth, or is that just a zoom in, or a small portion of it?
Well, this is Middle Earth. It's a map of Middle Earth, voice protagonist.
Yeah, because the Shire is more to the left or west in Middle Earth, so it's not shown on this map where the hobbits lived. It's
You make a good point. You make a good point. Yeah, it's a good point. Anyway, let's see. Who else? Oh, and who was the Ewan? Rowan. Yeah, Rowan.
Yeah, Aaron was the one that killed the Witch King.
Well, his daughter, I think, but
Yeah, Aaron was his daughter, Theoden's daughter.
yeah, Theoden. Yeah.
Yeah, King Theoden of Rohan.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Bernard.
there he is.
Yep. King of Rohan.
Rest in peace. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
That actor.
Yep.
Man. Sad.
Theoden. The King of Rohan and Lord of the Mark, or of the Ritter Mark, names used by the Rohan and the land. He appears as a supporting character in The Two Towers and Return of the King. When first introduced, Theoden is weak, with age and sorrow and the machinations of his top advisor, Grima Wormtongue, and he does nothing as his kingdom is crumbling. Once roused by the wizard Gandalf, however, he becomes an instrumental ally in the war against Saruman and Sauron, leading the Rahiam into the Battle of the Pelennor Fields.
Pelennor Fields.
Pelennor Fields.
I do have to leave. I just need to see what's going on in Hypno's chat. But thanks for having me on, everyone. Especially Garatina. I will see you sometime later. On a more appropriate subject. So
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care, Frostfang.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yes. Let's see. Scholars have compared Theoden to Theodric, king of the Visigoths, and Theoden's death in the Battle of the Theodrics in the Battle of the Catalonian Fields. He has been contrasted to with another protagonist in The Lord of the Rings, Denethor, Steward of Gondor, where Denethor is harsh. Theoden is open and welcoming. Gondor. I think I know what this is mentioning too, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, hang on. Denethor. Oh, yes. Here we are. There he is. John Noble. Denethor.
Yeah, John Noble's an awesome actor.
Yeah, he voiced Brainiac in Superman Unbound. He also voiced Odin, but in an animated film. But also he's also the voice of the Scarecrow from the best video game I ever played called Arkham Knight. Now,
Oh, yeah, Arkham Knight's awesome.
Yeah, Denethor, son of
Ecthelion.
Esthelion II. He was the 26th ruling steward of Gondor, committing suicide in the besieged city of Minas Turith during the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. Denethor is depicted as embittered and despairing. As the forces of Mordor close in on Gondor, critics have noted the contrast between Denethor and both Theoden, the good king of Rohan, and Aragorn, the true king of Gondor. Others have likened Denethor to the Shakespearean King Lear, both rulers falling into dangerous despair. In Lord of the Rings film trilogy, Peter Jackson chose to depict Denethor, played by John Noble, as greedy and self-indulgent, quite unlike Tolkien's powerful leader.
It worked out well, though.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Wow. Ewan.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the television series Sleepy Hollow?
Well, I know.
Noble was in that one as well.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I've learned of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool series. The first season was the best. But he was in that as well. And he was also in Fringe. I loved him in Fringe.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the daughter of the king of Rohan, Eowyn. Fictional. She is the noble woman of Rohan, described herself as a shield maiden. With the hobbit Merry, as she rides into battle and kills the Witch King of Angmar, Lord of the Nazgul, in the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. This fulfills the Macbeth-like prophecy that he would not be killed by a man. Eowyn's brief courtship by Faramir has been seen by scholars as influenced by Tolkien's experience of war brides from the First World War. She has been seen, too, as one of the few strong female characters in the story, especially as interpreted in Peter Jackson's film trilogy. For her role, played by Miranda Otto, yeah, is far more romantic than Tolkien made her. And here is Miranda Otto as Eowyn.
I
Gotta
thought
wonder
she
where.
did a good job. I was very torn though because her character was she was heroic in the end, but leading up to that point, she was so tragic at the same time because of that whole unrequited love that she had for Aragorn.
Oh, of course. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Let's see. Let's see who else we got. Oh, yeah.
Well, hey Sarge, I gotta pop off for a bit. It's
You done?
it's been it's been about an hour and a half, and I'm late making dinner.
Okay.
Gotta get some food in me, brother.
Take care.
All right. Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been a blast, and I look forward very much to next time.
Sure thing.
All
I'll
right.
let you know.
All right. We'll see you later.
All right.
Yeah. Well, voice protagonist, we might as well do one. Well, we might as well do two more before
Okay.
we call it. Let's start with Jim. Well, three more to be exact. Jim Gimli of Middle Earth. He's a dwarf warrior, son of Glion, a member of Thorin's company in Tolkien's earlier book, The Hobbit. Represents the dwarves as member of Fellowship of the Ring. As such, he is one of the primary characters in the story. In the course of the adventure, Gimli aids the ring bearer Frodo Baggins, anticipates in the War of the Ring, and becomes close friends with Legolas, overcoming an ancient enmity of dwarves and elves. Scholars have committed that Gimli is unlike other dwarves in being free from their characteristic greed for gold. They note, too, that he is unique in being granted the gift of Galadriel's hair, something that she had refused to Fëanor. The events recall the Norse legend, well, whatever saga that was, where a gift of hair is refused with fateful consequences. He is voiced by David Buck in the 1978 animated version, and he does not appear in the 1980s animated version of Return of the King. In Peter Jackson's film trilogy, he's played by a Welsh actor, John Rhys Davies, using a Scottish accent. And here's the family tree of dwarves. Right there. John Rhys Davies.
I loved his character in the movie.
Yeah, so did I. And now, next up, Galadriel. A royal elf of both Nolador and the Teleri, being a grandchild of both King Finwë and King Olwë. She was also close kin of King Ingwe of the Vanyar through her grandmother's Indis. Galadriel was a leader during the rebellion of the Noldor and present in the flight from Valinor during the First Age. Towards the end of her stay in Middle-earth, she was joint ruler of the Lothlorien with her husband Celeborn when she was known as the Lady of Lorien, the Lady of Galadrim, Lady of Light, or Lady of the Golden Wood. Her daughter Celeborn was the wife of Elrond and mother of Arwen, Eladan, and Elrohir. Tolkien described Galadriel as the mightiest and fairest of all elves that reigned on Middle-earth. After the death of Gilgalad, and the greatest of elven women, Tolkien scholar Tom Shippey has written that Galadriel represented Tolkien's attempts to recreate the kind of elf hinted at surviving references in Old English. He has compared his elves also to those in Christian Middle-earth English source. At the early South English legendary where the elves were angels, Sarah Downey likens Galadriel to a celestial lady of medieval allegory, a guide figure such as Dante's Beatrice and the Pearl Maiden in 14th century English poem Pearl. Another scholar, Marjorie Burns, compares Galadriel in multiple details to writer Haggard's heroine Aisha and to Tennyson's The Lady of Shalott, both being reworked figures of the Arthurian legend. Galadriel, Lady of Light, assisting Frodo on his quest to destroy the One Ring, opposed to the Shelob, the giant and evil female spider of darkness, have been compared to Homer's opposed female characters in the Odyssey, Circe and Calypso, as Odysseus' powerful and wise benefactors on his quest. Against the perils of the attractive sirens and the deadly Scylla and Charybdis. Modern songwriters have created songs about Galadriel. Tolkien's Quenya poem, Nemari, has been set to music by Donald Swann. Galadriel has appeared in both animated and live-action films and television. Kate Blanchett played her in the Peter Jackson's film series, while Mordred Clark. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
The less we talk about the Rings of Power, the better.
Exactly. That's why I chose to talk about this. That's why I chose to make this brand Lord of the Rings the first for my for my change. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
And now I know just who to conclude this. One more. That would be one more important character to go. Elrond, Hugo Weaving. Elrond Half-Elven is a fictional. Well, both his parents. You're well. Both his parents, Elwig and Earendil were half elven. Having both men and elves as ancestors, he is the bearer of elven ring Vilya, the Ring of Air, and master of Rivendell, where he has lived for thousands of years through the second and third ages of Middle-earth. He was the elf king Gil-galad's herald at the end of the second age, saw Gil-galad and King Elendil fight the Dark Lord Sauron for the One Ring, and saw Elendil's son Isildur take it rather than destroy it. He is introduced in The Hobbit, where he plays.
Did you mute yourself, Sergeant? I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I had it on mute.
Oh, there you are.
Oh my goodness gracious me. Yeah.
Did you sit on your mute button like I do sometimes during?
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Man, it was embarrassing. But thank you for coming again, voice protagonist.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. I had a good time. Appreciate it.
Yep. I'll be sure to have you on again for more streams I got coming up in the future.
All right, cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. You have a good night.
Yep. Good night to you as well.